Anti-Graft Agency EFCC has begun an investigation into digital asset trading platform CBEX after it collapsed, leaving several Nigerians counting their losses. The company had promised that investors would double their money every month. Well, people have posted videos of themselves crying, saying that they could not withdraw their investments. Well, some furious customers ransacked a CBEX office in Ibadan, cutting off chairs, air conditioners, and a solar panel.
Our deal.
Me, Bola, $200. Should I collect all my friends' money, all the money, 1,000. To Libya, to work, no work, fighting, see my hand, fighting, everything for Libya. I come back. My labor told me if the program is on stand now, on ground now, if you do it, it will help me. Then I should go and find the money. Small money I bring for Libya, I join now. I should do it. I don't want to do it. Yeah, the money is there. The labor, he collect the money. I see the money. The labor, he collect. He say I should join it. If you join it, if you do the money, it will times 2. Then I do it.
What I believe is really worrying the society. One is poverty. Poverty and gullibility to make easy money. So now, I can really blame this happening to part of the system that is working with the government. The reason is that when this set of things comes up, the government has the capacity, the opportunity of scrutinizing them very well.
Well, earlier on Arise Exchange, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Timi Agama, spoke about what the Commission is doing to ensure the safety of the investments of Nigerians.
Well, it's important to state clearly here that the said scheme is not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. And we have said it for the often time that any scheme that is not registered, any investment scheme that is not registered with the SEC is illegal. Fortunately, like you're aware, the ISA 2025 specifically defines what Ponzi scheme is and indeed provided for the sanctions that will be meted to anyone involved in Ponzi schemes by way of promotion or otherwise. And this is very clear. For us at the SEC, our primary responsibility is investor protection. And investor protection stems out of registration and regulation. When a scheme is not registered with the SEC, it becomes illegal, and it is important that whoever is interested in investing in such schemes must ask the question, are you registered with the SEC? And if that is not the case, then it is automatically stated and known that such is an illegal activity and will not be condoned even by the SEC.
Yes, so
for us at the SEC, yes, it's important to state clearly that the SEC was not aware of the illegal operation of CBEX. And what happens oftentimes with schemes like this, most people will always try to keep it away from the regulator and even keep it away from their friends, except a few group of persons whom they are interested in. So for us at the SEC, as we speak today, at this hour, we have not received any formal complaint from anyone regarding CBEX. Because if we had received a complaint, any formal complaint regarding CBEX, the team at the SEC will have actually swung into action.
Right. That's quite interesting that nobody has actually made any formal complaint to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Well, joining me now in the studio is Professor Uche Uwaleke, who is the director at the Institute of Capital Market Studies in Nasarawa State University and president of the Capital Market Academics of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight.
Thank you, Ngozi.
Let's even start from the premise where you hear from the Securities and Exchange Commission boss there saying that they're not even aware at all that there was any such, scheme, Ponzi scheme going on, unregistered, unregulated. Who do you really blame for that? How is it possible that such a scheme could go on and SEC is not aware? But EFCC says, we knew about this, we want Nigerians to steer clear of such, Ponzi schemes.
Yeah, it's quite possible, particularly when the Ponzi scheme is powered by social media. The case of CBEX in particular, the investors that flocked around CBEX, many of them, came through the channels of, WhatsApp groups, and Instagram, and so on. So it's very possible that, of course, the SEC in that circumstance may not be aware. And then there is also the issue of a surveillance, an AI-powered surveillance tool that also may not be available at the disposal of the Commission. Right. Okay, so when you operate under such circumstances, it's possible that such things could be going on, without you, being aware. Yes, and you
so
see,
the regulator is not as equipped as it should be to
yes, I
excellently as a
yes,
regulator.
Yes, I think so, and I also think that that's also why the Commission itself needs to be, properly funded, so that they will not only acquire such tools, but they can also go into even partnerships. Right. Partnerships with blockchain. We have, blockchain surveillance firms. The SEs cannot be in a position to go into, partnerships with them. So that those things, this kind of thing doesn't happen. And I also think that it's not just the issue of the SEC alone. It's not something that, you say you want to put a blame on the doorsteps of SEC. This thing requires, in my view, interagency cooperation. It requires the cooperation or partnership between the SEC, of course, that's the apex regulator, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Nigerian Communications Commission, the NIDA.
Right.
Okay, so because all of them, must work together, including possibly partnering with even the social media platforms, such as Meta. Okay, the Facebook and the Instagram, X. That's your Twitter and so on. Yes, because it's what that does is that they will now be in a position to flag, such schemes, when they happen, particularly when they happen through the social media.
On social media,
yes.
Because EFCC claims that it actually flagged some 58 Ponzi scheme, companies, that they listed and warned Nigerians about. But okay, so the deed is done. A lot of damage has been done. 1.3 trillion naira is not even a joke at all. So if I, got some kind of advert that there's this scheme, I can double your money in 30 days, whether it's $100 or $1,000, should that in itself make me, suspicious somewhat? How can I even differentiate between,
that should raise Ponzi scheme, right?
modern day money doubler and,
that should,
genuine ones?
That kind of thing should raise your antenna, okay? If you have an economy where, for example, average savings rate is maybe 10%. Even if you're doing, government securities and you're getting maybe 18%, all those rates are per annum.
Right.
Okay. Let us even assume that there is an investment you're doing that is benchmarking the monetary policy rates, which is 27.5%. Okay. Even if we assume it's 30%, okay, in a month that comes to 2.5% per month. But you see an investment like CBEX, for example, promising 30 to 40% return in a month. It was the same case with MMM, remember?
Oh, yeah.
In 2016, MMM was also promising people as much as 30%. We also had the MBA Forex 15%. Now, this other CBEX now promising you 30, 40% in a month. In an economy where, as I just told you, the most you can get is 2.5%. So that should raise your, antenna and say, something must be wrong with this.
But you have to be enlightened or educated to even interrogate at that level.
Yes, and
what about the ordinary Nigerian who's not that lettered, who's really not that educated?
So
but yes, your money can be doubled and goes ahead and
exactly.
invests.
So that speaks to the need for investor education. Okay, to enlighten the people about the dangers of this Ponzi scheme. And I must be also fair to this commission. The Security and Exchange Commission has been doing that, has been, trying to educate people on the dangers of, Ponzi schemes. Okay, but we need to take this message to the grassroots. We need to involve, religious leaders. We need to involve market women. Okay, and you also notice that in this particular case, they used influencers. Okay. Yes. So, and that's also so why, in my view,
for people to buy in.
Exactly. These influencers, in my view, should also be registered. Okay, by the commission. So there should be a database of influencers. Okay, such that if they are promoting anything, you can easily verify it.
Right.
I also think that there is need to have something like a public verification platform. Okay, where you can go to check whether a company is licensed,
duly registered,
and duly registered by SEC.
Right.
And such platforms, will have an API that is also connected to CAC, so you can also know the directors of such company. Okay, so when you have a faceless company, okay, all that we know about the CBEX now, okay, of course they have an address. In many other instances,
address,
yes, they don't have. So since these ones have an address, it's also important for there should be regulation that makes it mandatory for such firms to display their registration number, in their office. So once you walk into an office and there's no SEC, registration, you know that something is wrong.
Yeah.
So the public should be educated, to ask the right questions when it comes to.
So now, I mean, when you hear from SEC that there's no formal complaint has been made yet, since the whole CBEX situation broke. Can the victims actually get their money back? Can it be, is there legal recourse?
No, unfortunately,
class action?
Unfortunately, no. You see,
no?
Just as he was, saying, the new ISA 2025, section 26, okay, now has made it unlawful for anybody to operate, a crypto exchange.
Right.
Unlike before. So security gap too has also, regulatory gap has also enabled these Ponzi schemes in the past, because in the past, this particular one now is crypto enabled. So now there is a law that enables the commission to regulate it. Okay. Now section 193. This law,
is this the same as Security Act 2025?
Yes, that's as ISA 2025.
ISA
Yes. If you check that ISA 2025, you also find section 193 that talks about the Investor Protection Fund.
Right.
For those who suffer losses, but when they invest in the market, particularly when the license of any capital market operator is revoked. But that Investor Protection Fund does not cover this kind of schemes. By the way, is illegal, just as you heard.
Yeah.
So if it is illegal, you don't have any recourse. They don't have any hope of recovering the money. If you put money in a bank and the bank fails, for example, you will have recourse to NDIC.
Yeah.
Okay. For the capital market, legitimate transactions, the investment protection, fund, could help. But in this particular instance, unfortunately, is the loss is.
1.3 trillion naira will just disappear into thin air.
Exactly. And
well, we hope EFCC can actually, follow the trail of these people, and just like they said, they'll bring them to justice. I have to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Ngozi.
At this point, Professor Uche Uwaleke is the President, Capital Market Academics of Nigeria.